Great, so welcome. This is a space where we talk about all things creative, and my name is Hannah, and I am on a journey to build my dreams outside of my 9 to 5. In my 9 to 5, I work as a UX designer, and in my free time, I am in the process of starting my own business. So I'm assuming if you are here as well, that's something you're either interested in, it's one of your dreams, or you're doing it already, and in which case you're in the right place, and I am so excited for you to be here. This is a series, so as you can tell from the video thumbnail, this is a multi-part series, and I am sharing everything along the way as I build my business. And so I want to be transparent and be able to have a space where if you're interested in it, that you can follow along. Additionally, this is also slightly selfish, and I am trying to keep myself accountable because it is hard trying to do all the things. So with that, let's get into the video, and I think we're talking about logos today. All right, so we broke down our quarter into chunks. So this second quarter, what I decided to do was break down my month by each week. And then in the last video, I assigned what I think I could kind of probably do within that week. So this is what I said I was going to do for the first week of April, and it is a little past the first week, and so I'm going to give a little bit of an update of where I'm at. And so like I said, so in the first week, we decided to work on logo and color palette, and partially I did this as a way because I kind of already had it basically done, but it was just kind of like I wanted to get myself off of the idea that it had to be perfect, because it doesn't. And I can't remember what I was listening to recently, but it hit me hard. And done is better than perfect. And even if I launch it and it's not so perfect, I'm probably going to be the only person that's going to be bothered by it, in which case I can redo it because this is my job. So I would rather it be done than being stuck in a cycle of a never-ending editing. So with that, we're going to jump into Illustrator, because I want to show you kind of where I'm at with it, and talk a little bit about some of the struggles that came along with creating my own logo. We already talked about name, so if you are interested, if you're at that stage or you're interested in that, that's a different video. But I'm going to talk about the logo, color palette, and yeah, we'll wrap up the week. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what I'm going to be working on in the second week, which we are currently in the middle of. So I'm excited about that. So with that, let's get into Illustrator. All right, so we are recording, and what you're seeing here is my logo. So this is the color palette as well. So I didn't do a whole lot of altering. I changed a little bit of the colors mildly, but honestly, like, I am kind of happy with it. It feels vibrant, but it also feels like calming, and it has the feeling that I kind of want. I probably could add in a couple different accent colors, but I kind of thought, I can kind of figure that out as I build out the website and I build out other aspects of it. So if something's missing, I'll come back to it and add to it. So I'm not going to be too worried about getting it perfected, because like I said, I don't want to be stuck in a cycle of constantly editing things. So I would rather it be done so I can keep going. And yeah, I'm super excited with it. I ended up just sticking with, I think when it comes to the logo, one of the biggest things that is hard for me, and it might be as well for you, but if it's not, I'm jealous. But when you're going into the actual logo side of it, it's the typeface that you're choosing as the either base of your logo is clearly very important, and so I struggle a little bit with that side of it because there's so many options. So just like every human, when we have an endless amount of options, it's really difficult to make decisions. So I went with one of my favorite branding companies. They do they make their own typefaces, and so I just used a couple of the ones that they had as my base because I love what they do, and you know, it worked for me. So it allowed me to play a little bit with what I have, and not get so stuck in the minute details of it. So I wanted something that was going to be bold, but also kind of stand the test of time a little bit, but still be a little bit playful. So yeah, so this is kind of where I ended. I'm super happy with it. And so yeah, let's talk a little bit about the logo mark. So the logo mark, like I had mentioned previously, was based off of this piece that I found, based off of this imagery that I had found. And so I played a little bit with it, and I asked actually a couple people about what they saw when they looked at it. And so I got some really positive feedback of saying like, oh, I'm seeing it's like, it feels like a sunset or a little bit of a horizon. But then it's also, the meaning behind it is really referenced in the hotel industry, and but I also like the idea that I could kind of play with the circle and have it be more of like an eye, and so there's a little bit of that kind of within it. And I also love the fact that I can play with stripes, so that's kind of what I am going to play around with when I get into more of the guidelines and a little bit more of expanding on the brand itself. So yeah, that would be the logo. And then second, we're going to talk a little bit about color. So what you see on the left side, I went with a very neutral, but I tried to make the neutral, like here, a little bit more warm. I didn't want to be like true white and black. And one of the things that you should, you know, if you do play with like more neutrals, using like the straight black or the straight white is something that you can kind of do to kind of like up that design a little bit. Is like if you play a little bit with, there's so many different shades of that like black, and there's so many different shades of like that white that can still kind of bring a lot of character, but kind of elevates it a little bit. So I struggled a little bit with this neutral. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go a little bit more white, but I really loved it when I see it on this like brighter blue. It feels a little bit more grounded, I guess. And I also really love it on this teal. I actually hate the color teal. It's my least favorite color, but it's odd that this is kind of where I landed. But sometimes the things that we personally like works really well, and I enjoy this. So, you know, I'm gonna go with it. If I end up hating it down the line, I can always change it, like I said. So this was my color palette. And oh, additionally, so the other reason why these are gonna be like the core colors here, mainly because I'm gonna be branding. So when I'm showcasing different things, I need to have a neutral. So then that way, when I'm showcasing other brands that I'm creating and they have a wide range of colors and whatnot, that my branding doesn't overdo or overtake the branding that I'm trying to show, you know? So that's kind of the thought behind it. And then I would use these other colors in a way that kind of accent or kind of like, you know, are those secondary kind of pieces. So yeah, I genuinely am happy with it, and I am calling it done. So week one, this honestly has been super successful already. So week one, we're done. And then in the next video, I'll probably show weeks 2 and 3 because I'm doing these every other week. So yeah, so with that, let's see, we're gonna jump back into MIRO and check out what week 2 and 3 will be. All right, so we are in MIRO, as you can see, and this is what we went through in that planning video. If you haven't seen it, I'll link it right here. But so like I said, week 1 we wanted to get logo and color palette. We are going to mark these in black because we're gonna call them done. I'm gonna put a little emoji on this. Done. Oops, I don't like that hammer. Check. And check. Okay. And then in week 2, so in the next video, we're going to be talking about all things branding elements. Pattern ideas was secondary, so I might skip that because it's not super necessary, because that's something I can add as I go along. And then week 3, we have a couple different LLC things I need to do, and then I also need to work on the website design. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here and helping me stay accountable in this building my dream life and building this design business. If this was interesting to you, please let me know down below. But I will see you in the next video where we talk about the branding elements and then website design. So I'm hoping you're having a fantastic April. Thank you again for being here. Please subscribe, comment, give me a like. It'll help me understand if people are even interested in this type of stuff as I, share my journey along the way. And I will see you in the next video.